Cairn is a new story-driven adventure exploration game developed by the Game Bakers, the team behind games like Fury and Haven. The game focuses on the story of professional mountaineer Aava as she attempts to climb Kami, the most dangerous mountain in the world. It is a striking portrayal of chasing dreams and the consequences of the choices made along the way. Beyond the narrative, Cairn offers a compelling experience that captures the challenges of mountain climbing. Although not flawless, the game conveys deep meaning even with minimal dialogue. It exists to let your voice be heard from the highest peak and to deliver a message. This is a game meant not just to be played, but to be understood.
What is Cairn? Simply put, Cairn is a mountain climbing game. It includes light survival elements, but primarily focuses on climbing rocky terrain and maintaining the balance needed to reach the summit. While it's not full of action, there's a tension in every move, as a single misstep could send you sliding downward. Mechanically, it works similarly to games like Baby Steps. As you climb, each of your arms moves independently, meaning you must carefully reach for various ledges and cracks one limb at a time. The game isn't designed to frustrate. Rather, it encourages you to think ahead and plan your route before making a move. It tells a heart-wrenching story about chasing your dreams and the consequences of the choices you make along the way. Beyond the narrative, it's a challenging rock climbing experience that keeps you constantly engaged while ascending the mountain. You'll need to monitor your food, water, and temperature levels. If these bars drop too low, you may faint or start losing health. Losing health isn't a huge problem, but fainting can cause you to fall, die, or lose a few meters of progress. You can replenish these needs at checkpoints, where you can pitch your tent and cook. You'll also need to remember to tape your fingers from time to time. There's a lot to think about, though during the climb, these concerns are often secondary to the act of climbing itself.
Challenging, but extremely rewarding. If the game seems difficult, that's exactly the point. While Cairn places a strong emphasis on its story, it uses that story to push you to climb the mountain. The challenge comes when you try to reach the next hold, grasping the tiniest ledges. One miscalculation can send you tumbling down the mountain. At first, climbing can feel really tough. Over time, you'll start to understand how things work, and tackling more difficult routes will become somewhat easier. You have the freedom to climb any path you choose, but selecting the hardest or easiest route is entirely up to you. There are hidden items to discover, but not every path guarantees a reward. The game also offers several difficulty levels that enrich the experience. The recommended normal level for first-time players is already challenging, and mistakes can lead to significant setbacks. All of this effort makes reaching the next checkpoint or overcoming a particularly tricky section feel incredibly satisfying. There's no feeling quite like it, especially after falling multiple times. Every climb feels meaningful, and every decision has consequences. It's a brilliant mix of risk and reward. Taking a longer route consumes more resources, while an easier path may mean missing out on something valuable.
A playlist as precious as the stars.
Usually, music exists to enhance a game's experience, but in Cairn, the game wouldn't feel the same without the beautiful melodies that occasionally accompany your upward journey. The music doesn't just complement the game, it helps shape it. Without giving too much away, the final few tracks create a deep emotional connection as you face the consequences of your choices. Everything comes together, and with a final magnificent piece, you truly feel both the pain and the joy of the game. As the music swells, all your emotions converge, and you finally reach your goals. This is something that truly needs to be experienced, and in a game that evokes so much thought and feeling, these tracks are indispensable. For some players, this may largely go unnoticed until the very end, but each time you look at the rocky path ahead, you'll find yourself accompanied by another powerful, moving piece of music.
A feast for the eyes.
The soundtrack isn't just amazing. Some moments in the game are genuinely visually striking. In today's world, where visuals often focus on realism, the presence of something stylized really stands out. This isn't limited to isolated scenes. There are many spots where you can pause, look out over the mountain, and rest. Seeing other peaks emerge from the clouds or the sun appearing on the horizon creates an atmosphere that truly makes you feel like you're in the mountains. There's also a lot of visual storytelling about the long-lost ruined society. Cemeteries and large stone carvings covering the mountain slopes give you a sense of what life on Kami used to be like. Being able to look at the slopes and plan your route is genuinely captivating. While the visuals have a slightly cartoonish style, there's often far more color than you'd expect in a place that should feel empty. As you climb higher and the snow falls more heavily, you start to feel the harshness of the conditions, and the color begins to fade into the shadows of jagged rocks and the more dangerous-looking climbs.
The furry nest beside the peak. This game offers an incredible experience, but that doesn't mean it's perfect. There are some tricky areas, like positioning your arms while climbing, or occasionally having a hold slip when it should stay put. These moments caused occasional frustration, but never enough to ruin the fun. Your arms can do some interesting things during a climb. They might rotate incorrectly or miss a hold by just a few inches, often simply due to randomness. You need to adapt and find ways around these situations, though it's an issue that could be fixed in the future. There's a wonderful balance of risk and reward, where every climb feels meaningful and every decision has consequences. Taking a longer path consumes more resources, while choosing an easier route might cause you to miss something useful. For example, my foot sometimes preferred the flat rock just above a hold, which got me into trouble a few times. It doesn't break the climb, but it can be genuinely annoying. Add in occasional odd arm movements, and it becomes an extra factor that complicates the ascent. There's a mechanic that lets you choose each limb's movement, but it slows things down. In an urgent moment, you usually want to use the preset limb. This is fixable and controllable, so it doesn't block your enjoyment. However, trying to figure out when Aava is moving the wrong arm or leg can sometimes take away from the pure joy of climbing.
A story that loves to be told. The biggest draw of Cairn and the best reason to play it is its story. This isn't a tale about a vast world-ending catastrophe or a life-and-death scenario. Unexpectedly realistic, pun intended, it's a story about chasing your dreams and the costs that come with doing so, about leaving everything behind as you venture into the world. Aava leaves her family and friends behind to conquer Mount Kami, a peak no one has ever successfully climbed. She spends much of her time listening to various messages left by her friends and partner. This provides a perspective on what drives her towards the summit, while also giving you, as an observer, a view that is very different from her own. As the music swells, all your emotions converge, and you finally reach your goals. This is truly an experience worth having, thought-provoking and emotional. And without the music, it simply wouldn't feel the same. Will she return home? Continue the climb? If she reaches the summit, will life at home remain the same? If she doesn't, will it haunt her forever? Cairn doesn't ask these questions directly, but as a player, it encourages you to reflect on them. Regardless of your perspective on these matters, as the game progresses, Aava grapples with her own doubts and those of the people around her. It's a deeply well-written, contemplative story that shows how pursuing your goals affects not only you, but also those around you. Many players will identify with Aava, while others might see her as selfish. This kind of narrative and subtly provocative visual storytelling is rare and nuanced. No matter how you feel, you'll develop a desire to finish the game and see how it all turns out. Good or bad, you'll want to know how the story concludes because it feels profoundly real. Final thoughts. Cairn is not just a good game, it's a great game. It combines a highly subtle story with a level of challenge that will test almost anyone, leaving little to be disliked. Anger, sadness, joy, and surprise transform into a journey far more meaningful than a simple game. Everyone should play it to experience Aava's delicate narrative. I didn't expect to form such an emotional connection with this game, but I'm glad I did. Cairn is a story that deserves to be absorbed. It's not perfect, but what makes it special is the way its different elements come together to create something meaningful for nearly everyone. In the end, the game asks the most important question: what is your summit?